I'm Tim Herrera with the Sacramento County Office of Education, here with another Teacher of the Year profile. We're speaking with Marsha Cornwell, who is the Teacher of the Year for the Sacramento County Office of Education. Thanks for joining us.
Hi Tim, nice to be here.
Well, tell us about yourself, tell us where you teach, and tell us what you teach.
I teach at Wilson C. Riles Middle School. It's in the Center School District in Antelope. And it's a middle school of 7th and 8th graders, around 700 students. And I teach an ASD class, which is students on the autism spectrum disorder.
Okay, so what is that like? What is it like? Explain kind of your classroom and the types of students that you have.
So I have a very diverse class. There's students who would come to me who would be able to be mainstreamed into either general ed or their special ed classes. There's actually only 2 self-contained classes on this campus, myself, and then there's an independent living skills class. And then there's some special ed teachers who rotate classes. So for some of my students, it means that they are mainstreamed into general ed or special ed, as I mentioned, and then some students, the least restrictive environment is really staying in my classroom, and we serve them. What the classroom actually looks like, if you came in, is the motto for autism is to keep it simple, keep it visual, and make it fun. So kids on the spectrum generally tend to be kind of anxious, so we want to provide a nourishing, soothing environment. So having a routine, a daily schedule that they can follow and know what to expect is really helpful. So we have a visual schedule. A lot of kids, even though they might be able to read, pairing it with a picture just helps them to really be able to really perceive what the schedule is.
And each student that you have, their situation is different. So,
absolutely. So
it's like no two snowflakes are alike type of thing, right?
Right. And so that's the beauty of being a special ed teacher, is we really get to look at each child, get to know them well, what makes them tick, and look at not just academic skills, but social skills, because in autism, as you probably know, there's 3 main areas. So it might be deficits in social skills, some communication challenges, and then repetitive behaviors or sensory motor issues. So, every child is different, so we're really looking at the whole picture, and we partner a lot with parents in doing that. Like really, what does we like to look at the child. I have them generally for 2 years, 7th and 8th grade. So what are the skills they need to learn now? But we really look at what's down the road for that child. Where are they going to be when they get out of school, and what kind of life skills do they need? So I like to think that what we get to do as educators is really speak to that child, speak life into them, open up doors. We have the keys that can, unlock opportunities for them and help them walk into their destiny of who they're created to be.
So not only do you have a number of students, a classroom full of students with special needs, but each need is indeed special in that they're kind of individual.
Exactly. Right.
And you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You had talked about the importance of working with the parents.
Yes.
Explain how important that is, especially, it's important to begin with in education with the parent-teacher relationship.
Right.
But explain how more crucial it is when you're dealing with students with special needs.
It's really critical. So we have a special education information system, SACE, where we can see a child's IEP online, so we get to know what are the skills that the previous teacher noticed, and generally there's a report by other professionals. But it's the parents that really hold the key. They know intimate things about their child, and they know what they can do and can't do. And they're the ones that have the best knowledge. So we definitely want to partner with the parents. They can help us, I can help them. It's definitely teamwork. So that's really key. And then there's other professionals involved. We might, partner with a speech therapist, occupational therapist, mental health counselor, psychologist. It's a lot. It takes a village, as they say, and that whole collaboration piece is really helpful. And the main person that needs to be involved is the student. If they're able to really communicate, what do they want to learn? What are their hopes and dreams? That's the key component.
And so the parent really has to kind of continue the education at home and then reinforce what you're teaching and then you reinforce what the parents are working on.
Right.
It's a real partnership.
It definitely is. And there are some amazing parents that I've been able to get to know. You get to know people really well. It's like really being in a community. And what's a beautiful thing to see is some of the friendships that have formed amongst the parents. Generally moms, because they're usually the ones that would either bring the kids or that I would see at the bus. But, you know, dads as well. And that's just a really lovely thing to see, especially with special needs students, because a lot of parents need support. You know, they might have it in their families or communities, but.
So what is it like when you get a student who, by 7th grade, and within 2 years, that student's ready to be mainstreamed?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of a feeling is that for you as a teacher?
Oh, it's a great feeling to see kids be successful. And I know I had one student this year actually went to a school dance. And that was huge for him, and he ended up winning 2nd place in the contest for costumes. So just the little successes like that, or seeing, as you mentioned, a student mainstreamed, and then forming friendships, because friendships are sort of a difficult area for a lot of kids on the spectrum.
And once those students are mainstreamed, I mean, it's do you think the sky's the limit? That there's the potential for a great deal of progress as long as there's more reinforcement?
Right. For every child, it's different. I mean, for some, there's a learning disabilities expert, Rick Lavoie, who talks about, being fair isn't treating every child the same. It's giving each child what they need. So for some children, it's staying in the classroom. But for children that want to be or can be mainstreamed, it's definitely very fulfilling that some of those kids can actually end up leaving, maybe not leaving the program totally. They might need a homeroom, when they go on to the high school, but being able to really be secure enough in who they are to branch out and feel safe doing that is great.
So how long have you been in special education?
I've been in special ed my whole teaching career, which is about 35 years. It's amazing. It's been an awesome career.
So what kind of changes have you seen in that period of time as far as student population or techniques or?
A lot of changes. I would say student population. I've seen just, I think just we live in challenging times. So I think not just in the student population, but in the general population. I mean, not just in the special population, but in the general ed population. I think there's a lot of kids that are really struggling these days. So I think that's a factor, that we really need some mental health support in the schools for kids that are troubled. And I think it's just a great opportunity for teachers to really come alongside and support those kids and help them achieve their goals and help them see how significant they are. And like I said, speak life into who they are and open up some doors.
So what does it mean to you to be named as a Teacher of the Year?
It's a great honor to represent SCOE teachers. There's a lot of great teachers that I've had the privilege of working with, and I think it's important in society. I don't think generally people recognize the influence that teachers have in students and in culture, that really we can be agents of change for the culture. So I think it's a great honor for me to get this award.
So what motivated you to be a teacher in the first place?
That's a great question. Actually, it was divine intervention. I went to City College intending to be in the nursing program, and it was full. So I went into child development, and I had the incredible honor of being taught by Bernice Clayton, who was an advocate for the rights of children and the disadvantaged. And I learned so much. It was really eye-opening. She took us on field trips to migrant farm camps, and she was instrumental in starting Head Start programs. So I worked in a Head Start program, and I really saw what poverty does to kids and to families. So from there, I went on to get a degree in child development and psychology, and then I took not a summer off, it was a semester break, and I got to work in a group home with emotionally disturbed kids, and that pretty much rocked my world because I had never been around kids with those kind of behaviors. And even though it was a bit scary for me, way out of my comfort zone, it was intriguing to me, and I loved it, and it just really opened up my heart that you can make a difference with those kids. Though initially I was planning to go on to graduate school to become a child psychologist. After working there and seeing like what a difference the teachers made in those kids' lives, I thought that's what I want to do.
You were hooked.
I was hooked, that's right. Yeah.
Well, congratulations to you. We've been speaking with Marsha Cornwell, who is the Teacher of the Year for the Sacramento County Office of Education. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tim.